Hello and welcome to the e-commerce leader series, the podcast dedicated to helping online leaders navigate the future of online retail with AI. I'm your host, Bryan Kinghorn, Head of Growth at Luca AI. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Juan de Paul, the Chief Operating Officer at Rhyde. So Juan, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we dive into our conversation further, would you mind giving our listeners a bit of background on you, on the business, and keen to learn more.
Eric, thank you so much for having me. I'm a business guy. Let's say I studied business administration. I'm from Argentina.
Okay.
Being working a little bit in consulting, but then fell in love with the startup world, let's say. Being working on different startups, on different areas of the startups, but mainly focusing on processes optimizations. And that's how after the MBA, I ended up working at Rhyde on the operations side. Rhyde focuses on refurbished micromobility, mainly electric scooters and electric bikes. When we started Rhyde, we realized that there was a huge market of waste in terms of electric scooters, mainly from companies that were getting banned from different cities, or people that were actually trying to get outside with something nice, exciting, without having to sweat like you may do with a bike. So we actually entered into this market where we get secondhand electric scooters and electric bikes, refurbish them as brand new, and sell them back again to the market. We usually give them a second and up to a third life even.
Okay, cool. And how long has the business been in operation?
So for 4 years now.
Okay, cool. And what sort of, what's the scale of the business? What sort of size are you at right now?
Well, right now we are growing. To be honest, the last year we had 1.5 million revenue, and this year the target is to duplicate that.
Okay.
This is as you can think of as a seasonal business. Whenever it's cold, rainy, or whatever, people are not using it as much. But when the sun comes out and bright, nice days come with that, people are more eager to be outside, not having to use public transports or cars, and that's where the demand goes up again.
Yeah, cool. And I suppose so on the business startup space, a lot of people are attracted to the marketing and the growth side of things, but obviously you've built your career around operations. So what was it that attracted you to the operational side of businesses?
Well, first of all, I think that I have a kind of point of view that may be different from others, that it's getting this big image and understanding it, but by their different little processes and little parts that this may have with the stakeholders that involve those little processes. So I'm always detecting bottlenecks, inefficiencies, or problems that may happen with the scalability that the business has at the moment. And I've been having a lot of fun actually fixing those kind of things. And that's the main reason why I also jumped to operations. I mean, you can see in finance that if you are taking everything with an Excel sheet, you may have troubles once you scale and things like that. So those kind of things that I've been learning from finance, from commercial teams, and from expanding the business in different countries, came to realize that, okay, the operational vertical of every company is the kitchen, let's say. So it's the most interesting part to do so.
Yeah, cool. And I suppose for Rhyde, it's a slightly more complex operation than a traditional e-commerce business. So can you talk us through, like, on a basic level, like how that looks for a customer? Like how does it look? Like Where does it start? How do they send things to you? Like, yeah, just talk to us about that customer journey side of it.
Perfect. So we may have two kinds of customers, right? The first we can have a customer that wants to sell a scooter that is already used. And then, of course, we may have a customer that wants to buy a refurbished electric scooter. I'm going to focus on electric scooter because I think it's, first of all, the most complex side of the business, but also it represents 90% of our business today.
Yeah.
So in terms of sellers, what we did was develop an algorithm to price electric scooters and to price it in a fair way, right? Whenever you want to give back a scooter to the manufacturer or whatever, the price that they can give you is super low. And when we analyze that, we realize that we can offer a really good price to those customers and still have a nice margin out of the product. So I think that we got to that sweet spot of fairness with the customer. So we developed this pricing algorithm involving more than 5 brands and in total more than 100 models that we can price. And we get the scooter, we pick the scooter up from the customer's address. We get the scooter to our facilities. We do a quick diagnose. We compare that diagnose to the pricing model to understand if the conditions are the same as reported. And then we have the warehouse process, okay? We manage a team of 5 mechanics that are already organized to diagnose a scooter, to understand with the software if we have the spare parts that are needed to actually get the scooter to the perfect situation, refurbish the scooter, test it out, and then pack the scooter so that it can be sold. Once the scooter is tested, we also have an inventory review so that we can start uploading a scooter and get the inventory rotation as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Then if you are a buyer, what we do is use an e-commerce. Basically, we also sell at marketplaces, but we have a strong e-commerce now that we rebranded Rhyde. We have this motto of culture on wheels. We want to involve people to be part of this change, to actually use refurbished products, to feel good with refurbished products, and actually realize that sometimes refurbished is much better than new, just because you are getting something that is almost brand new and you get it for half the price.
Yeah. Awesome. And I suppose over the history of the business so far, I'm sure that you've come across many challenges. Business is never straightforward. There's always things to overcome. So what have been some of the challenges that you've encountered, either in your role within the business or just wider business challenges that you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Well, first of all, the market changes quicker than we thought, to be honest. When we developed the pricing model, for example, we of course, we set some rules that would determine the final price on which we could buy each scooter. But we realized that manufacturers are getting out more models than expected per year. And that makes the older scooters prices vary a lot more. But not only that, the spare part conditions for each model changes a lot as well. There are a lot of spare parts that are not being manufactured at all after 1 or 2 years of their launch. So that part was kind of tricky to actually understand what are the things that are really gonna be considered for the price that we are gonna offer for each scooter, so that we don't get scrap in that we can sell after, and so that we don't buy super cheap, getting this, let's say, bad experience from the customer. Again, as I started explaining about Rhyde, we want to be fair with the customer at the same time of being a profitable company. We don't want to harass the customer and getting scooters in a price that are not helping others out, right? Because if not, there's no any interest in selling to us as well.
Yeah, nice. And I suppose as the business has grown, obviously you accumulate more data, more tools, more processes, things need to change and develop all the time. So how do you think about that? Like, how do you think about building the systems for scale without creating more problems for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what I always try to do is actually understand what it's needed today and right now.
Yeah.
Okay, at the scale that we have today, what are the tools that we really need, and what are the tools that are going to be nice to have if we grow a little bit?
Yeah.
Once I get a sense of that, I analyze the capabilities of the team as well. Because if I have a team that I need to train from scratch with the tools that I really need today, it's going to be quite complicated. So I need to also adapt the solution to those needs to what we have inside the team as well. And that's pretty curious because, for example, when we went out to actually search for an ERP that could help us manage these refurbishment products, it was impossible to find one. Why?
Yeah.
Because the market is not really aware of refurbishment products that are not cell phones or computers.
Yeah.
And that was kind of tricky and complicated. We ended up getting an ERP that it has this condition of open source ERP in which we can edit, we can customize, and we can understand ourselves how we want to really develop the internal processes and everything, and that actually help us to manage everything inside. And we came to realize that some of the capabilities that the team couldn't learn in the short term could be replaced by AI. And that was also kind of nice because we got to implement something that was huge that maybe 3 years in the past wouldn't be possible because of the tools that we could have. But today it was something easy to implement with API keys and with integrations that maybe yesterday we couldn't have done.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you've transitioned nicely onto the AI topic. So let's dive in a bit deeper. Let's dive in a bit deeper there. So obviously, we've got as you say, we've got lots of different tools and things available to us now to help us, improve operational efficiency or whatever it, marketing, finance, sales, whatever. There's AI that can help with all of the above. How are you treating AI within your business specifically? And, give us some examples of the type of area of the business that, AI has really helped you personally navigate within the business.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, what I realized first with these LLMs and not even thinking about different tools is the power that AI can give you as an employee, right? Something that you would need to study months before knowing something really well. Today is just a long chat with AI, maybe.
Yeah.
And also getting to discover different ways of doing things came much handy and easier with AI as well. So I would say that maybe having LLMs as the tip of the iceberg of something that you can use easily, that you can question, that you can bring to the table in an easy manner, actually help us getting the team on board to, okay, there's a new technology that it's also gonna help us be more efficient. And that was the main objective, right? Like, the idea today is to use it as a complement, as a power tool for each one to get their skills to a maximum level of capabilities, but also extending their limits of efficiencies, let's say. And then in terms of AI tools or things that actually help me to process different processes and internal operations, were tools like NA10 that uses partly AI, and basic things like AI agents as well. Or let's say, because those are not as basic, but let's say basic AI agents, right? I think those different things help me to at least maximize the potential that we had internally. But I also came to realize two main things that I think are really important to mention. One, AI is not at a human level, I would say, today. I think a lot of human expertise, a lot of human capabilities are ultra needed today in the business. And that's why at least with the team, I always try to focus AI as this complementary tool and not something that was coming to replace anybody or anything inside the company. Yes, it's right that having AI gives you the opportunity of hiring less amount of people, because today one person can maybe do the job of 5 or 10 even. But having said that, I think before I implement anything with AI, I always want to have the experience of doing it myself, or in the case of someone else's job, of doing it by themselves, so that we can understand all the pain points that process has, all the flaws that may happen in one of the processes that is going to be implemented, or that we want to implement. And after we get to master that part, to know every detail about the flaws, the pain points, and the bottlenecks, get to work with an AI tool that is going to help or replace part of that process. At least whenever you talk about processes in operations, it's super simple to imagine a huge and nice NA10 flow, right? You can have a lot of things that are replaced by different nodes, by different tools, by different integrations. But again, if you automate scrap, you're going to get scrap out. And I think that's also important to mention and to realize before doing anything with AI.
Yeah. Nice. Good, good points made there. Thanks very much. And where do you see the most opportunity or potential for AI to help you that's maybe not quite yet at a stage to help you? Like where do you see the biggest opportunity to help with efficiency?
Well, I think that AI comes to hyper personalize everything that is going to happen from now on.
Yeah.
Let's say, even purchasing things or doing whatever. I think that AI is starting to understanding people in a way that we couldn't do before. And it's starting to narrow down things in a simpler way that we couldn't get before, right? Whenever you talk about customer persona, whenever you talk about, for example, SEO strategies, people have been working in SEO strategies for years now, having a lot of organic traffic today, thanks for the work that they've been doing for the past years. And I think that's going to start to erode as well, just because people are trusting more and more in their own AI tool, and even the AI agent you can see in Instagram, TikTok, Meta, whatever, that even more and more people are developing their own agent, their own Jarvis that are helping them with whatever they do in the daily tasks. And also that I think it's gonna be repercuting on how people are gonna consume, right? Instead of searching for e-scooters or e-bikes, people are gonna just chat to their AI agent saying like, hey, I want an e-scooter for this city. Just search for it.
Yeah.
And get me the best deal. So I think that that's also moving everything that is happening to a different perspective, right? In the business, I think the focus is much more on, okay, how can we make this product the best experience it exists in the market, instead of selling the best product. Why? Because people are only consuming experiences right now and are only valuing experiences, I would say.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, great insight. Thanks very much. So how do you see the COO role changing over the next few years with the growing use of AI? How are you thinking about how your role will change over the next couple of years?
I would say that what we can see today, what is happening with junior developers, it's gonna happen with this position with daily tasks, let's say. And the needs for this COO position is gonna be much more strategic than it requires today. I don't only need to know how the operations of a company work to its efficiency point, but I would also need to understand the strategy of every area of the company and how every little detail inside operations may or may not affect to other areas, to understand what will be the right prompt, the right execution, or the right whatever to organize the company. I think the COO position needs to, of course, understand what happens in all the company, understand how all areas integrate with each other. But a lot of those interactions will be automated and will be replaced by maybe agents talking to each other, or with a very good flow that just integrates everything into one thing. So again, I would say it will simplify the daily task a lot. You would just need to review things instead of getting hands-on to any possible fire that you may have inside the company. And it's going to be much more strategic, and it's going to be focused much more in what happens 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And analyzing market trends, analyzing market possibilities and opportunities, instead of analyzing the company inside.
Amazing. Thank you very much again for all your insights. So before we start thinking about wrapping up the podcast, I want to ask some rapid fire, so quick responses, whatever comes first to your head.
Okay.
So what is, in your opinion, one process that every business should automate?
I would say the first interaction with customers should be already automated for all of them, and I'm thinking about today. But also, I would say accounting, if I had to bet on it.
Cool. Good. Thank you. And the best leadership lesson you've learned?
Best leadership lesson. Well, we are all humans and we are all different. That means that we can't expect the same out of everyone that we have in the team, and that we also may have good days and bad days, so we can't expect the outcome of the good days every day.
Yeah.
And I really like to take every aspect of leadership as human as possible, because whenever you're really comfortable where you are is where you're gonna work the best. And I learned it from a previous leader that I had. I loved that experience, and I started implementing it as much as I could with my teams after that.
Nice. And then next one would be, what's the number one metric that you pay most attention to as COO? What's the one metric in the business that you pay most attention to?
The net margin. I would say, yeah, the business needs to be profitable. So if the margin is negative, you need to start changing things around. If it's a pricing, it's a pricing. If it's the cost structure, the cost structure. But yeah, net margin.
Cool. And then finally, what's the one thing that every COO should stop doing immediately?
Oh, that's a nice question. I would say get over involved in things. I think, I mean, as a COO, you get this business responsibility, right? If business is running well, okay, you may be responsible for that win. But if there's a problem, or if there's something, the main head should be the COO, right? Yeah. So I think that whenever there's a big fire or there's a big problem, I saw COOs getting a lot involved in, okay, what's happening? What can we fix? How can I fix it, or whatever? And I would say still trust the structure of the company, trust the team, and if you delegated something before, it's because you actually think that that's gonna work, so trust it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks very much, Juan. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. And before we do wrap up, where's the best place for people to connect with you or find you, either personally or the business?
I would say LinkedIn. The business, yeah, enter to Rhyde.co if you want to ride a scooter.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, Juan. And yeah, thanks very much for all your insights.
Thank you very much for your time.